I remember being about 8 years old and being in the bookstore of our old church. And if you don't know, Jack and Norma, my parents, were the leaders of this center before I came along in the last few years doing this whole thing. And at the time, I was homeschooled, so I was in the bookstore in the office all the time because that's where they were, homeschooling me and my brothers. And I remember the day Yuma and her kids showed up to the church. They had driven up in a Jeep Cherokee four-door with wood siding on it. That's how much I remember it. And all of her kids were with her. And she walked into the bookstore with her 3 young children who were around my younger brother's age. Actually, her oldest is my younger brother's age, and then 2 younger than that. And she said, "I'm here, and I'm going to be here." She just looked at our staff and said, "I am here, and I'm happy to be here." And it was like she just felt the Spirit before she even saw a service here. And that's just always had an etch in my memory of this volunteer that I felt we had to really finally thank for almost a lifetime award of volunteering in this center through all the many ups and downs of its progress. So I think we have to say thank you more. I mean, there's many of you that will be getting this opportunity too, but it had to be you, Ma, first. So love you. So today my talk title is The Architecture of the Invisible. The last 3 weeks I've been giving Lent talks, and we've covered everything from our thoughts and our words and our imaginations and how they create the lives that we're experiencing, and the importance of this Lent fast, which is really more about a spiritual fast versus a physical. I mean, if you might have stopped eating meat or you might have stopped drinking, and if you did all these things, wonderful with everything else, but it's more of a journey of really going inside into our inner wilderness to discover where we are living from a limited place within ourselves, in mind, body, or spirit, and to visit in those constructs that are no longer serving us. So it's kind of a part of letting these parts of ourselves that no longer serve to die off. It's the process of that, and then eventually we have the resurrection of an awakening self that no longer has to carry the dread or the panic or the fear or the lack of love for oneself or whatever it is that has been putting a barrier between you and love. So today we're going to talk about the architecture of the invisible. How do we tap into the invisible? And I'm going to tell you a story. I told you I was going to tell you this last week, but I never got to it. Last Saturday, I had been invited to go to a dance show with the Colorado Ballet, and that started at 7:30 on Saturday night. And I don't ever go out on Saturday nights to do anything because this is a lot to wake up to, and all of this stuff. We're here for many hours developing what you see in this service. But my daughter had gotten a ticket for my other daughter to go to the ballet, and was supposed to go with her husband. Her husband couldn't go. He was on call. And both my Sag daughters do not like to drive for some reason. So really they wanted a chauffeur to go to the ballet on Saturday night at 7:30. But I accept because my youngest is graduating, and I do want to spend as much time with her as I can with all the changes. I'm about to become an empty nester, and I'm feeling like I want to soak up every bit I can. And so I went, and we drove down to Denver, and while we're driving, we're laughing and talking, and I'm thinking, why was I resisting this? Like, this is magic, to be with my little girls that are now adults and have incredible dreams, and to talk to them and just to witness what they have become. And then also them being so close when they're 11 years apart, to see that this has happened finally, which I never knew if that was going to happen. And they had like little secret jokes between the two of them against me, which was a little annoying, but at the same time, it felt like real sisters, like they're real sisters. That 11-year gap has now closed, so we had a great time going down there. But then when we get to Denver, I get right near Buell Theater, and it gets chaotic. And I'm not a city driver. When you live here, we aren't used to being on highways and city driving and the whole bit. And I get to the Buell Theater, and we need to drive in, and there's this huge line of cars going both directions, and there's police everywhere directing, because there's a bunch of shows that are starting at that time all over the place. And when it comes to my turn, I turn into the parking garage, and I wedge my car up to the ceiling. I have a snowboard rack on the top of my car that obviously exceeded the height limit. So I'm literally wedged up to where you pay. And now cops are swarming my car. They're telling all these cars to have to back up, and it's miles of cars having to back up to let me back out, which I'm thinking have destroyed my car. And I back out, and they're like, there's this other parking garage for taller cars. Like, you would have thought they would look at my car and say, don't come in here, but nobody did that. So I pull out, and I go to this next parking garage that it seems is where he said to go. I pull in there, and there's this big cement tube that has the height on it, and when I go in there, it smashes into my my rack, and now it pops to the other side and is smacking the back of my car. And now police surround me once again and have to make miles of cars get out again and get me out of there. So then now we take another attempt at this different garage, and this one doesn't have a person near it. Not a police officer, not a nothing. So I'm going in as blind as you could imagine to this other parking garage. When I go in, it's got cement walls from bottom to top. There's no window on each side, and it's literally like this much gap between my car and this spiraling thing that goes like this. And I've just now had this adrenaline of both of these situations, and there's every color of the rainbow of car scratches on the side of this tunnel as we're going up. And I'm in pure focus mode. You know, like when they're kind of in crisis, I'm in that slow motion mode where I have got to do this correctly because I don't want to destroy my car. But it keeps going, and it never spits me out into a parking garage. I'm like, what am I inside of right now? Like 4 stories. I mean, at this point, I'm like, I'm thinking, am I gonna have to ditch my car in here and just leave and never have it back? Because there's no way you could back this car out of this. This thing was the stupidest design thing I've ever been inside. And we finally get spit out at the very top. It turns out it was the convention center, which I didn't know, and whoever designed that ramp, it's the stupidest thing ever. We get spit out, we get parked, there's not one car up there. I don't know if that was a utility ramp. I don't know what I went up with my car. But we get out, and we're walking to go find the elevator to get down, because we have to get to a reservation. And my eldest daughter goes, "Mom, oh my gosh, you were amazing. I was sure you were about to blame me for pushing against your boundaries of you going out on Sunday night." She's like, "I thought you were going to lose it on me at the second parking garage, and you made it through the third, and you were completely quiet, and there was nothing. There was no attack against what was happening." And they were literally panicking. I could hear them doing these breathing sounds, like, you know, when you're in panic, they were in a panic in that. But it got me to thinking, something's taken hold in me. Something shifted in my life where that reaction, I've also been on the 40-day fast, so I've been really working my work, looking at the limitations, and one of the things I can do is tolerate till I blow. And this last 4 years for me has just been everything that I've been kind of attached to falling away. And I've had to live in this state of surrender without any promise of anything shifting. And it's grown me. I now realize that adversity deepens our spiritual practice as much as it's not fun to go through these phases. And if you're a Libra or an Aries, we're just about to get popped out of this, but we've been in it for about 5 years where it's been a lot of things falling away. And now we're supposed to feel the benefits of the beauty of the other side of it. And I think I'm feeling that benefit that I was like, wow. Even my daughter noticed something has taken hold, and you didn't operate the way you've operated for the last 30 years of my parenting with her. And that felt amazing. That's why we go on these quests into the wilderness, to be reminded of the power of the Spirit of truth taking hold in our hearts and in our minds and in our beings, right? So I got to thinking, because when we're thinking about the architect of the invisible, when you start to live that life isn't happening to you, but it's happening for you, you start to look at the signs and the symbols of how the universe is taking hold in your life, right? So when I went to the dance show, that was the most amazing experience. It was so beautiful. It was so worth it, whatever that whole thing was. But the next day I started thinking about the number 3 garages, 3 daughters in 3 garages. Like there's a number, right? I'm always trying to find that invisible code that's speaking to us and through us, right? It's like when you have like a group of animals, like turkeys walking by, you count them. Because everything is in a divine sequence in our lives. And when you start to look through a lens like that, it becomes this mystical, interactive, co-creative return to the spiritual self that we were born as. We start to see the magic in all this. We don't just look at the discord and all the growth that comes from it. We start to see the evolution of an unfolded soul and heart that is indwelling within us, right? So I looked up the number 3. The number 3 is the number of creative energy. Where were we heading? To a dance show, right? It is connected with artistic expression, storytelling, music, dance, and art, speaking and teaching, which would make a lot of sense in the career that I'm in, right? People influenced by the number 3 often feel called to express ideas, inspiration, or beauty in the world. Across spiritual traditions, the number 3 often symbolizes divine completeness. Isn't that interesting? Right? And there's examples of the divine completeness. In Christianity, it represents the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Right? In Hinduism, it's Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. In unity, it's the mind, body, and spirit, or past, present, and future. It's the Holy Trinity. Right? And this is one of the tools that we're taught to work with to help unfold a new experience in old, limited things. And how it works is in unity metaphysics, the number 3 represents the creative process of life itself. It's idea, mind, and expression. That's our Holy Trinity. Idea, mind, and expression. A divine idea is planted in consciousness. The mind nurtures it with attention and belief. And eventually that idea expresses itself in our lives. So we think of the divine ideas. When we have this divine sense of longing for something, a lot of us will just think that that's fantasy. But when there's this aching on the door of your soul that's saying you want something more, that's a divine idea. And then we take it into the mind and we let it percolate in there. We start to see it as if it is unfolding. We start to watch the opportunity of seeing the end result of it, right? And then it expresses, and then we go into gratitude that it did, or we say thank you before, because we already know it's already been birthed of the divine. Because our souls have callings in a lifetime, and we can listen, or we may not. You know, Edgar Cayce, one of the greatest seers of all time that was proven to be psychic, said, souls will come here, and some will grow, and some will not. You have free will. And so if you keep getting this knock on your heart that's saying, I want to be more, somebody shared with me, they want to dance again, then you got to dance again, right? When you're feeling that divine inspiration, you have to take hold of that idea and let it percolate in the mind and let it start to express, and then do something about it. Let it express, right? Because it's not just for nothing, right? Everything is created in our 5th principle in unity. It's through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. Through thoughts, words, and actions. I would add embodiment. I would add that it's a feeling too. It's not just thoughts, words, and actions. It's a feeling about things. We have to let it come into the feeling place that something's been resolved, right? When we can really get it beyond just the intellectual into a feeling place that something has been resolved with something, you will watch that your response to things will be honorable. You will start to impress yourself, like I felt at the top of that parking garage. She didn't even need to say that she was proud of me. I felt it in myself because I realized I'm living with a regulated nervous system now. And I didn't my entire life because I've had many traumas in my life. I lost a child. That made me fearful of everything. Everything made me claustrophobic and scared and worried and concerned. I had a husband that was extremely mentally abusive for 11 years that took hold in my cells and my beings and my everything. I've had to witness the person that allowed that to happen to her. And by being in that witness in meditations and resolving and healing and knowing I don't want to live in a panic where I breathe to here the rest of my life. That I want to breathe to here for the rest of my life. And I want to feel peace. I want to know what peace is. I want to know what love is. I want to know what spaciousness feels like. I want to know what it feels like to dance like him and not think of self-conscious things like Strider, right? The fact that he makes us want to expand ourselves. And watching that dance show that I went to. So these people are flying, cultivating their calling, and letting us with our eyes just exploding this wonderment of what we're all capable of. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. So we can think of different things. Have you ever noticed a cycle where something repeated itself and you're recognizing that there's probably a divine inspiration in it? Or you might blame it. We have two ways we can go about it. I could be like, why does the universe hate me? And I'm in this situation with all of these parking garages with cops up my butt. And like, you know, we can always go a direction. We have choice. Also, we have free will on how we respond, right? Or we can really laugh at it. Like when she said, I'm so proud of you, Mom, the tension that was in the three of us, we had the laugh of our lifetime. Walking down, finding the elevator, and we were in hysterical laughter. It was awesome, right? We had to let that go. We had to laugh, you know? So, because they say humor is crisis plus time. That's what's funny to us, is when we had something that was really a nightmare, but we had enough time to look back on it and totally laugh at it, like, what a nightmare, right? So, and we kept getting the giggles in the dance place totally inappropriately because it's super quiet. It's like being in an opera, and we both had this like, because it's just hitting us how ridiculous that situation was. This is what it's all about. It's to find humor in it. Because we're going to keep getting handed obstacles because that's how we grow the soul. And it's how we respond to it. That it's not for anybody else to give us a credit or a grade on how we're doing. It's how are we feeling in the unfoldment of our experience, right? So throughout the scripture readings for this Sunday, for Lent, the fourth Sunday of Lent, a question runs like a thread through them, which is, how do we see? How do we see our lives? What lens are we looking through when we're looking upon our lives, right? And we can have that pessimistic look on life. Look at all this awful things that's happening in the world. Let's take notes on all of the awful things that are happening in this world, and then ask yourself if you're breathing well and breathing into your belly, right? How are we seeing things? How are we bringing our energy into this experience? When we see a fearful thing around Iran or something, do we run to our closest friend that we already know is in a lot of stress because they're raising young children and are going through a divorce or something? Do we bring that conversation up, or are we divine co-creators and go, you know what? Is this actually going to help anything? Or am I needing to get it off my chest and put it on somebody else? It's how we carry ourselves to be healers in this world. What would Jesus Christ do, right? Because his example is what we are all capable of being. Can we be quiet when we'd rather gossip about the horror we're watching? Can we be more prayerful Can we surround those mothers that lost the 160 children? Can we hold a space of being that Christ potential? And be avatars of this life. Because there is no God outside of us that's going to fix all of this. The Christ potential is within us, and us identifying with these symbols and these signs of spirit that are moving in and through us. It's our crossed over loved ones that are moving in and through and supporting every aspect of our lives. If we will open and fine-tune ourselves to the possibility that everything that Syntysche is saying right now is real. And you know what? Wayne Dyer would say, you have to believe it to see it. When the rest of us say we have to see it to believe it, you have to believe it first, or it doesn't take hold in your life. When you open up and you take the barriers away, you become something ethereal and magical and insightful. So, I have totally gone off this sermon. It's okay. That happens. I think I can make my way back in here. So how do we see? Not just with our eyes, but with our hearts, our consciousness, our understanding of God and ourselves, right? And there's a passage that always comes up on the 4th week of Lent, and it says this in Psalm 23, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." And let's notice what that means spiritually. It doesn't say I will always get everything I desire. It says I shall not want, because the presence of God within is already guiding, sustaining, and leading. Eric Butterworth once wrote, who's one of our greatest unity ministers, "The Christ within you is the shepherd of your life, guiding you through every valley toward higher ground." And then the psalm continues to say this, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." The valley is not removed from life, but fear is transformed by the awareness of divine presence. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Then gently shift the interpretation, because the metaphysical interpretation of Lord in the original part of this, Lord represents the divine presence within me. The divine presence within me. The same presence revealed in the sacred name, I am. And in Exodus, Moses asks God for a name, and the answer is, I am that I am. I am is the most powerful words for God. I am. And you finish it. I am love. I am inspiration. I am joy. I am peace. I am gentle. I am kind. I am intuitive. I am open and receptive. I am here only to be truly helpful. So in consciousness, the psalm becomes the I am within me is my shepherd. The I am within me is my shepherd. The divine presence within guides, directs, restores, and leads the soul. And Charles Fillmore, our co-founder of Unity, of the Unity Movement, says, I am is the name of God in people, as I'd rather say women and men. Again, this is all old text still. He believed that every time we say I am, we are invoking the creative presence of spirit within consciousness. So I would like to take us into a guided meditation and just let everything kind of take hold in us and allow the miracle and the beauty of life to have its presence and have its way. So let us just dim the lights in here and kind of create this safe space for all of us. And let's begin by gently settling into this moment. Allow your body to become comfortable Your feet grounded, your shoulders soft, your breath slow and easy. Take a deep breath in and gently release with a and another slow breath in and release with a Let's let the outer world become quiet for a moment as we turn inward. And now bring your awareness to the sacred words of the psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Take a moment and allow these words to settle in your consciousness. Metaphysically, we understand the Lord not as something distant, but as the divine presence within us. The living presence of God expressed through the sacred name, I am. The I am presence within you is your shepherd. It is the divine intelligence guiding your life. It is the quiet wisdom that leads you gently toward peace, clarity, and wholeness. Let's take a moment to feel that presence now. Softly affirm within yourself, I am guided. I am sustained. I am held in divine care. And allow these words to move through your awareness. The psalm continues, He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. Imagine now a peaceful inner landscape, a place of stillness, green pastures of peace within your mind, still waters representing the calm depth of your soul. Your breath becomes like those still waters, gentle, steady, and quiet. Feel the restoration happening naturally. Now gently return to the sacred name within consciousness, I am. This name is not just a word. It is the doorway of the divine presence within you. When you say I am, you are acknowledging the spark of the infinite within your own being. Take a breath and quietly affirm, I am peace. I am guided by divine wisdom. I am supported by the unseen good of the universe. And we'll return again to the psalm. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Notice that the psalm does not promise we will never walk through valleys, but it reminds us that the presence of the divine walks within us, the shepherd within, the I am presence, the unseen guidance of spirit, all moving quietly with us through every experience of life. Feel the gentle assurance that your life is unfolding within a larger spiritual order. And let the sacred words move through your consciousness. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The I am within me leads me into peace. The unseen realms of spirit support and sustain me. Let's take one more deep breath. Out with a... Returning to the room, bringing this quiet awareness with you. and saying, thank you, God. Amen. Thank you. Love you all.
Another beautiful soul opening message. We are so blessed to be able to do this. You know, there are countries in the world where you can't worship openly and freely as we do in this country. We need to be thankful for that. And thankful for the messages we receive, which give us inspiration to expand and live more effectively, beautifully, joyfully. And so knowing that, we have the opportunity to give back and support Unity of Boulder. I want to speak to those of you that are watching this on a screen. I know it's easier to get up and walk away from the screen than it is to be sitting here and have a basket put in front of you, asking for a donation. But you could do yourself no greater favor than to donate to the truth that you are seeking, the life-healing truth you are seeking here in Unity of Boulder. And everyone seated here can bring into their hands that gift they'd like to make today. Or we can just, you want to take the QR code that's in the lobby and scan that with your phone, and you can be able to make a donation that way. But right now, just open our hearts, and we want to give from that feeling of being blessed. We have just been very blessed. And let's bless this offering with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is. All right. And we have Strider again. Strider going to do another song? All right, come on. Get this.
What if all it ought to be you? I know it ain't love just 'cause I want you. It's hard to live long days within solitude, right alone, though I wish I could get back to you. You, baby, I think about you all the time. Suppose I really had you in my life. I once had the clearest of vision. Why? You could take it to love, but you're living inside a crystal ball. You could give her all she wants and you wouldn't know where to give it all. Lorraine, how I wish I really believed in you. I know it ain't hard to love me too, but we move like we're ready to go right below. You wish I could get back to you. My skin, well, the rain on my
Thank you, Strider. Great job today. After the service, can I talk to the open source group? I know a bunch of you are in here. I have a thought about something that I want to do with you guys coming up. So if you can meet me right after. And then I am going to have the discussion group 5 minutes after the service. If you have something in your heart, or you want to talk about the sermon, or you want to it's just a gathering of people. We meet back there for about 40 minutes and just have a sharing together. So anybody's welcome. It's free. And then we have fellowship over here with food and coffee. You can grab some of that and then bring it to the sanctuary for our meeting. And then we also have prayer partners available too. If you're facing a challenge, they are over here, and you can just stay seated in your seat, and they'll come find you and take you to our beautiful meditation room and pray with you. All right, let's all, oh, by the way, he's one of our soloists in the Easter production this coming in a few weeks. We got a lot of really great soloists, so you don't want to miss our Easter bonanza. So let's all rise and close with "Let There Be Peace on Earth," because gosh, don't we need it.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To taste and rest in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And so it is.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my
Open
life.
sourcers, come down here.
My heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release, I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah.
Open source. The open source groups meet at 12:30. If you have people that have young adults as their kids, or they just, people that could really use community, it meets from 12:30 to 1:30 every Sunday, and it's led by my son Tyler and Strider, and they're all individually running this group.